Gareth, much anticipated game, first one at home in 25-26 against Walsall. Is the adrenaline pumping ahead of the first one at Priestfield?
Yeah, of course. It's nice to be at home. Say everyone ramps up to that first game, but there's a whole host of games now coming up, and first one is here at Priestfield. And Walsall will be a tough opposition. They won with 10 men last week against Swindon, so we've watched them. Difficult to put a plan together really, because they only get sort of 20 minutes of footage with 11 men, and they probably changed. They're not going to start with 10 men against us, So we've delved into pre-season a little bit, have a look at them. But again, it's going to be all about us and what we do. It's really important this season to understand that we can define our own destiny, the way we play, the way we apply ourselves in games, and the qualities we bring. So we've been working hard on that this week. Reflecting on last week, I thought it was a great point, away from home. And then midweek, when you see what Accrington did to Oldham, in the cup, again, you think, another great point. It's good to bring something back from the road on that first day, and the nature of coming back into it. The boys are buzzing. So one or two injuries as well, getting closer now, getting out on the pitches, and we're seeing almost a full squad training. Barring Ewan, and that's really good to see. So I'm hoping to have some selection issues come the weekend, but definitely the upcoming games against Wimbledon and Tranmere and going forward. But yeah, Saturday's all about Walsall. Can't wait for the fans to get down here and get behind us. We've promised that we'll play attacking football, we'll get at teams, and the excitement hopefully will build as we get closer to the weekend.
Weather's meant to be good. I think there might be near 7,000 supporters here on Saturday, so the atmosphere is going to be quite special. Yeah,
the guys travel well. Guys and girls, they travel really well. They were brilliant at weekend, and that's a long way to go. I know, I'm from that way, so thank you for that. And again, a thank you in advance for turning up on Saturday, because it's tough. There's school holidays going on, people are away from everywhere. It'll be a nice sunny day. There's better things to do, I'm sure, in a lot of people's minds than come to a football game. But you'll get your diehards who that's all they live for. That's great, and I want to get this family atmosphere back to Gillingham, and that real feel part of it, bringing generations of grandfathers and dads and kids and all coming together. That's what football to me was all about back in the day, and we're a very accommodating club, and once that Rain MM gets going, it's something special to experience, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
Lovely. Gareth, thanks ever so much. Matt, all yours.
I think season tickets have hit a record again this summer. Obviously that's partially you and Richard Dobson coming, and partially what's happening behind the scenes as well. But you talk about that family atmosphere. How important is that?
Yeah, no, flattery will get you everywhere. Yeah, so thank you for that. But we absolutely want the fans here. They're part of it. Football has changed over the years. It really has. And it's changed. Some people will say, not to some great extent, but a lot of people will say that more fans are accessible now. There's more access with the girls' football and families now, and that's true. So the more we can, we can accommodate everyone at Priestfield, the better it is. The bigger crowds we'll have, the more support we'll get. And believe me, I am massive on the football club being about the fans. It really is. You've got owners, you've got players, you've got managers come and go, and status of leagues, but fans are the ones that are constants. They really are, and generations of fans, and so I'm really, really proud of being the manager, because I know what it means to a lot of people, and the more the merrier. So please get down here, get behind your local side, and join this journey that we're going to start together, because it's a pretty special place, and I'm enjoying it.
The owners have talked a lot about community as well, haven't they? I'm sure they did to you when they first talked to you, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah, a big part. I'm a big Blackburn fan. People know that, and my memories are of walking down the high street of Blackburn, down to the game, and being surrounded by thousands of other fans, all with that same anticipation, that same expectation. I think there was probably a little bit more time in those days given to managers, and the results weren't everything. It was the experience, which still is fantastic at Gillingham. But I know in the modern game, results, are it's a pressure thing now, and the finances and the status of teams and what it means now. Obviously, from the Premier League, it trickles down, and we are part of that. But very proud of this pyramid we've got in England. No other country has what we've got, and we've got to be proud of it. And people turning up in League Two on a brilliant sunny afternoon when the championship's kicking off and there's other things to do, take my hat off to them, really do. I say can't wait to see them all on Saturday, and hopefully we can put on a decent performance and get the right result.
There's always something special about the first home game, isn't there? I know you talked about playing attacking football at home as well. It was just a different kind of thing at Accrington last weekend, because I think you were proud of the point, weren't you, in that performance?
Listen, I didn't go for a point. I never do. I always go for a win. But I knew that'd be a tough game. You know, they beat Rotherham 4-1 the week before in a pre-season friendly. And being totally honest, I thought that Accrington really overpowered Rotherham and played really well. So when I got there, I'd have settled for bringing something back. I wanted to bring all 3 points back. We had some great chances in the first half. Probably played our best stuff in the first half. And then Accrington took hold of the game a little bit. You know, we played a little bit too predictable onto Rawson's head, and he kept winning everything. They put a bigger press on us, and that was partly to do with that. But it was a relief when that goal went in, because I thought, you know what, we deserve this from that first half performance. But you don't always get what you deserve in football. But you know, to keep the run going, and obviously give the boys some confidence that what I set out to do at Accrington got them something. You know, it's tough as a manager. You put a plan in place, and then it's easy to is it best laid plans until you get punched in the nose, somebody said once. So we definitely got back in the game and did really well. And like I said, the boys have faith in me, but more importantly, I have big faith in them. They're a good side, they're a good group, and we can win games this season. Different
challenge this weekend. Walsall, obviously, they were beaten finalists in the playoffs last year, which says something about their pedigree. What is the challenge with them?
Yeah, Ars Sadler's done a great job there. You know, he really has, and obviously Gary Waddock was the man I replaced at Wickham when he got the sack. And my memories of Gary were he came to rang me up the day after and said, "It's your turn now. Go and smash it." You know, that's the stature of that man. I've got a lot of respect for Gary Waddock, and so it's no surprise that they've been at the top end of the table with him helping out Matt. And they've changed a lot of bodies. You know, that's one thing I will say. I think they gave 4 league debutants last week. They've lost a few players. They've changed a little bit star-wise, but you know, we've looked at them. We're ready for it. I say, at some stage we're going to get beat, and it will be right. We've got to pick ourselves up and get ready. But I expect us to go out with the belief we can win on Saturday, and I want to try and get as much as I can out of this game. Scoring some goals at home in front of the crowd would be brilliant, and front foot attacking football is what I want to try and deliver. So yeah, we've spoken a lot about you know, the threat of Walsall, but also, as I said earlier, what we can do.
You talked a bit about personnel. Could it be that one of the new signings is on the pitch on Saturday?
Yeah, it was ironic, wasn't it, that signings weren't ready for the start last week. Yeah, we're going to try and get as many fit as we can for the game. You know, it's a bit of patience on that one. I think is going to be important. But I've got some good players who were here. I believe that myself and Richard coming in, it almost gave everyone a new lease of life anyway. So I think people saw players in a different light, and they were almost new signings in themselves. So it's not all about these new signings having to play. We're still picking up good results. I think we were in the top 6 form table last year, you know, in our 9 games together. So if we can carry on in that vein, you know, the new signings will add to us, not define us.
I'm going to ask you probably every time we see each other until the end of August. What's the situation with any new players coming in?
Oh yeah, we're working hard. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you look at people like Lyle Taylor today, been in discussions with Colchester all summer, you know, and that drags and drags. It does, you know, at this level you can't just go and so we're in discussions with players. Definitely, we're in discussions with agents, and it drags and drags, especially at League 2 level. Everyone thinks they can play higher, they can get a higher club or a better club or what they consider better. It's just time and patience, and like I say, I've done a lot of good deals late in August. If that has to happen, that has to happen, but I definitely want to bring more in before the end of the window.
And just a word for the fans before the first game of the season. I think you've laid out, you know, what a community this club can be. But what would you say to them ahead of the kick?
Yeah, honestly, I understand their frustrations at times, without a shadow of a doubt. But I also know how they feel about their club and where it's been. They're big fans of Brad and Shannon, which is rightly so, because they've come in and transformed this club. And even Brad and Shannon have gone, we came in, we've learned from our mistakes early, and I think now we've got the correct formula to move forward together. Everyone learns as they go. I've been in football a long time. I know my way out of League Two. I intend to make that happen, but there's got to be a little bit of patience. We've talked about a journey and this not overnight success. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's the right thing for football clubs. I want to build, and I want people to understand that through these times, these tough times, it will be at some stages, it's brilliant, because when you get to the good times, you can always look back thinking, I was there when we played Accrington away, first game of the season, or we had to beat Walsall, we were there, or we were disappointed after that result. But eventually I'm hoping that they'll see the vision that we all have here, and that's a football club with a real identity, something to be real proud of. And when those players come off that pitch, they won't have anything left. If they're not right, if they get beat, come at me, because I got something wrong. But the players will give everything. That's one of my big non-negotiables here. So, and for me as a football fan, I think that's pretty acceptable. As long as your players give everything, we can accept anything. Because the fans certainly do give everything, and they play a big part this season in what we're going to achieve. Thanks.
Matt mentioned the season ticket record. It was close. I think it was about 50 short at the start of the week. I mean, it'd be great if you could get that by the weekend, wouldn't it? Yeah,
it'd be brilliant. If it gets down to 1 or 2, I might have to buy them myself. But I'm only joking. I'm sure I'm sure a win would cement a few more season tickets. But I stay in the area often a couple of nights a week, and I'm going around the area of Gillingham when we go to the training ground and thing, and there's always fans well wishing and good luck, and the shop's always quite busy, people coming in and trying to get things ready for the new season. So the fans are definitely excited. I think there's a little bit of a buzz around the place, and obviously the bookmakers have put us as a decent finishing position. And like I say, how they've come to that is amazing because of where this club has been. But I think that's part of that buzz that everyone can feel around the place, and I intend to bring another signing in to add to that. But also the boys I've got, they're good enough to achieve, and we proved that last year.
There's big potential, isn't there? It shows that potential, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have great potential, we really do. But potential, it's not always great. You've got to realise it, and they have to become the players that they're threatening to become, and the team that they're threatening to become. All the tools are there. There's no bad things here. There's no major problems here. I tell you that definitely. And I think it's a few tweaks just before we can get going and unleash ourselves on other teams. But I'm really happy with what I've got. I think we're solid. I think we can build. I want to go and score goals. I want to go and attack teams, and hopefully we can put it all together Saturday.
With the incomings, I mean, you've not signed any loan players as such. Was that something that on purpose, or didn't materialise?
Look at my records in clubs. Don't often do a lot of loans. Just my preference. I just firmly believe that once you sign a contract for Gillingham, you properly invested. I'm not saying some of the loan players aren't, because they are, but I have to get the right ones there. And I think too many can be tough. And also some of these youngsters, they're coming to learn the game and to get experience. For me, that can sometimes be frustrating for other boys. And we want to win games, and we want to proceed up the leagues and that. And people do get the right ones, and they're match winners. Look at Louis Barry at Stockport, for instance. Those type of players are fantastic to get those loans in. But there's a lot that don't have the impact that they think they're going to have as well. So we're really, really careful with loans, and if we do get one, it'll be the right type, the right kind, and we'll fit in.
And on the flip side, you've made full advantage of the loan system for your younger players at the minute.
Yeah.
3 or 4 have gone out. You must be pleased to see them get football already.
Really pleased. We have too many players here. I said that at the start. I want to trim that squad down. These boys are out playing men's football, gaining experience, learning the game. It's crucial for me, and it was crucial for their development. So they're still around it. They're still learning from us. But on a Saturday, when they're not involved in my squad, rather than sat in the stand twiddling their thumbs, maybe eating and drinking the wrong things, or hoping the team get beat because they won a game, they're out now fighting for their places. We have We have a loan system where we look at them all, we get footage on them all, we get reports on them all. So I'm very aware of what everyone's up to and what everyone's doing. So yeah, I think it's a great thing that they're all out there.
Okay. And touched on team news a little bit. You mentioned last week that Sam Vokes was just coming into full contact training. Is that right? Is that what he's up to?
Yeah, so Vokes is in full contact training now, which is great. So it's about building him up now, making sure that there's no other injuries, you know, because non-contact training and contact training is something totally different. You know, you really exert yourself in contact training. So Vokes will play a part, an Aaron role. He's looking really sharp as well at the moment. So that's two that be big names, and hopefully we can get them both back involved soon.
Okay. Are they pushing for the weekend or maybe?
Yeah, one of them might be. So yeah, we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.
Lots been said about communities, clubs, and feelings for clubs. You've been at some very big clubs like that. What makes Gillingham special?
What makes the teams?
What makes Gillingham special?
Gillingham special. Yeah, do you know what? It's the people who've left Gillingham and are still proud of being from Gillingham and coming back and supporting Gillingham. I find there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people in London, when I've been out in London, that they're Gills fans, and they'll come and tell me that. And I think the pull of this place, I know Bromley are in Kent as well, but for years they were the only team in Kent. I think that it's a real proud thing that, you know, people don't often know where Gillingham is as well, which is a crazy thing for me, you know. So, but to be, yeah, the community's really grabbed me, and I think they're real football people. A lot of people talk about working class being up north and the Lancashire and the Yorkshire areas. I think Gillingham's got a little bit of that about it. I really do, you know, a bit of the sort of grafting, understanding football on a Saturday people. It's that kind of town, and I like that. That's where I was from, and I think that's you know, that's really special, that they're really proud of their sport and their football club. And it was yeah, it's grabbed me in a way I didn't think, and I have to admit, I didn't really understand what Gillingham fans were all about, what the demographic was and that. But they're proper. When that Rainham M gets going, and it can go the other way. They can be quite demanding and critical, but rightly so, because we're not good enough. But when we need them, they're there, and I've been up against it. I've been up against the fans here when we're winning and Gillingham are pushing for equalisers. It's quite an intimidating place, and I didn't realise that until I came here.
Next question out of me, thank you. I was just going to say, Aaron, how different? Are you able to, now you're on the right side of the fence, as it were,
yeah, are you
able to appreciate them even more?
Yeah, definitely. Their football knowledge is good as well. I always say this story. I remember playing, I can't remember who I was playing against. I think the days of Andy Frampton and people like that when they were here. But I came off at the age of 39, 40 one year, and I'd played a lot, and I was lucky enough to play at good levels, and I came down and did my career at Wycombe, and I played here for Wycombe once, and I got subbed, as I often did at that age, you know, and I got sort of a standing ovation almost from Gillingham fans as much as Wycombe fans, you know, and I thought, you know what, these lot know. And it's not often you get that, you know, you get a lot of abuse and you get, but they actually respected my hard work. I was a proper hard work player, you know, I just never, you know, not some of the skills that these boys have got, but graft-wise, I'd match anyone. And I think they appreciated that, and I always thought, it stayed with me. There's a couple of places like that. Hartlepool, crazily, was one of those as well. But again, it's probably the demographic of that, he's got the shirt, but he's one of us sort of thing, and that's what I want the footballers to be. I want the fans to be able to relate to them. We've got player appearances going on. We're trying to get out in the communities. A few lads were at the training ground today with the schools who do the soccer schools and that. And for me, that's a big thing. I don't want everyone looking, or I don't want the players feeling like there's something special. I don't want the fans looking. I want the fans going, yeah, he's one of us, but he's got that shirt, and we're right behind you. And that's really important to me. I want us to be together, and that's a big thing that I think football clubs should have. So many feel like they're apart from the players. Gillingham feels like it can be that community, and a lot of work to go. Yeah, I'm not saying we've cracked it by any means, but I always remember those days back in the days, thinking this lot know their stuff, you know, and that's fair enough, because we're quite far out from anywhere else, you know. And to have a football club here in the Garden of England, and probably looked upon as a nice place to live and all this, it's actually, no, we've got real football people here.
You said the comment you made to Matt when he asked you about Saturday was what you had in your mind to set out to do at Accrington.
Yeah.
Players bought into. Did they get anywhere near? Did they get to where you wanted them to on Saturday? Or
yeah.
anything you would have changed?
So it's not too much I would have changed, you know, honestly. Probably the quality in the second half I'd have changed if I could look back and say, could we do anything better? But the chances we thought we would create, we did create. There wasn't many. We didn't really threaten their goal, but there was a set piece that we should have scored from. There was a couple of chances in the first half where we got around the sides, and for the want of a good ball pulled back to somebody, I think we could have hit the target there. Apart from that, they didn't fall for the traps that Accrington were trying to set. And after the game, I spoke to the Accrington manager, and he told me we thought you'd play in this way a little bit more. So I'm really proud that we didn't play in the way that Accrington wanted us to play. We played in the way that Gillingham wanted to play, and it messed Accrington's plans up. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't a one that's going to go down in the history books, but a point away from home is always a good point. And I think that we grew as a team because the boys did exactly what I asked, and we got the point.
Now, hopefully back it up with 3 points at home.
That'd be a fantastic start if we do. Some teams got a point last week and they were at home, or some teams got no points and they're at home. They've got to go away this week. It's a tougher ask for them, you know, where we've had a solid point and we know we've got a home game. If we could hopefully back that up with 3 points, it'd be a real solid start to what I believe is going to be a good campaign.
Just one final thing, how much of a bonus has it been having a blank week this week?
Having a
Blank week this week?
Oh, any week being Saturday to Saturday for me is the best. As a player, I love Saturday Tuesdays because I always wanted to play. As a manager, the next 4 weeks coming up is going to be tough because we've got so many games coming up on a Tuesday. Prep and training time on the grass, just like at the end of last season, it was chaos. So Saturday to Saturday is really good, and hopefully we'll see some of the stuff we tried to put in training, and you'll see some patterns that we haven't maybe seen before because I've not really had a great deal of time on the grass with these boys since I walked in end of March, you know. So hopefully we'll start seeing some of these things coming true and some good football. Cheers.